sometimes it doesn't feel safe to slow down long enough to lay a real foundation. So where is that lacking? Because that's where you can then focus your attention, focus your energy, focus your magic on creating a little more of a foundation. Welcome to the Glow Up Revolution podcast, a podcast for overgivers, overachievers, and the strong ones in the room. We discuss everything from neuroscience-based burnout prevention to magic spells we can cast for upcoming job opportunities and everything in between. Welcome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to the Glow Up Revolution podcast. I am your host, Megan Winkler, and today we are kicking off a brand new series focused on the chakras, magic, and the integration of all these parts of ourselves in our work and life. So, I'm starting off with a question for you, and here it is. Have you ever looked around your life, looked at your calendar, your inbox, your to-do list, and feeling like it regenerates like a hydra? Like you cut one thing off the list and 5 other things spring up. Have you ever thought, how am I doing so much and still feel like I'm standing on sand, or even worse, quicksand? It might be a root chakra issue. That's right. We're starting off with the root chakra today. And this new series is really a lot of fun. So I'm so glad that you are here for it. I'm so glad you're starting here. These episodes are standalone episodes so that you can really start anywhere. You can skip around. You can revisit the ones that you need. I am recording them in order. So today's podcast is about the root chakra. Next week will be about the sacral chakra. But I did want to create a series for you that you can kind of bookmark for yourself. You can come back and visit, especially if you have, a Reiki session with me or somebody else, and they're like, oh, there was, look like some imbalances in such and such chakra. You can pull up these episodes. Or like if your massage therapist or some other healer is like, oh, I think you should do some root chakra work. Like you can always come back to this episode. So that's kind of the goal with these episodes in this series. So each episode is going to follow a similar pattern. So it's going to be basically like what the chakra is, how you can support it, how to tell when it's out of balance, and then how to bring it back into balance. I am, of course, going to include a little bit of Reiki because that's the kind of energy work that I practice and truly, truly believe in. And then I'm also going to talk about how this will show up in your business or your life. And so that you make sure that like an imbalance in a chakra is not like just running everything for you. So before we dive in, I've got a quick disclaimer that this is a podcast and not a replacement for medical, legal, or psychiatric advice. I am just sharing general information. If you have concerns about a specific situation, let's chat privately, and I can help point you in the right direction for getting support, whether that's with me as a coach or another kind of professional. And the reason I'd say that is there's a lot of really traditional chakra knowledge and understanding that I don't want you to conflate with medical advice. Okay? So that is out of the way. And now we can move on to the root chakra. So in Sanskrit, the name of the root chakra is Muladhara. And it is at the base of the spine, and it is correlated to our survival, safety, and belonging. And it's very rooted in grounding energy. Right? So I've always thought of it kind of like at the base of my spine being like my tailbone. And so depending on who you talk to, like some traditions place it at the perineum, others at the pelvic floor. I've always kind of thought of it as like the tailbone, but it's all in that area. Right. And it is considered the first chakra. So the first of the 7 main chakras in the body. Now we know that we have lots of other chakras, like there's chakras in our hands and our feet. Medical and scientific research is actually showing that we may actually have a really cool organ that I can't think of the name of right now, but it actually shows up as like the different chakra and meridian points that ancient medicine has understood for a long time as being there. As the root chakra, it is that foundation and that root. Just like a tree has roots, your energetic body also has roots. So the root chakra's whole job is safety. So it's physical safety, but it's also financial safety, a sense of being safe in yourself and being safe to take up space in both your body and the world. So its name in Sanskrit actually means root and support or base. So it's a whole lot of just like that holding you. And really in Reiki, we always start from the top down to check on all the chakras. However, the way I was taught to practice Reiki is that if the root chakra is out of balance, out of whack, that really it's good to kind of start by grounding the body first and then going to start at the crown chakra and moving down. So my training was really unique in that I was trained by a woman who has, I think, 4 decades of energy healing through different modalities. And so there's a lot of grounding and energy clearing and emotion clearing techniques that she wove into our training. So it's really cool. Anyway, that's a tangent. The root chakra is associated with the color red, the element of earth, and actually the sense of smell, which is really interesting. And the reason I think that that's so interesting is that smell rules a lot of our memories. There's a lot of memories stored in our sense of smell. And so too are there a lot of memories rooted in our sense of safety. The root chakra also governs our relationship to our bodies, our home, even our money and ancestry, and our sense of belonging to a family and community. Now, your nervous system also has all of those parts, like the sense of belonging to a community, money stories, all these things. And my experience, both firsthand as a practitioner, but also in research, is that really like it's all integrated. It's our thoughts and our body and our spirit and, you know, facts and opinions and emotions and, you know, objective sensations like, you know, gravity holds us to the earth. So it's all of these things. Okay. But what's really important with the root chakra is that if it is not grounded, if it is not spinning in a healthy way, you cannot self-actualize your way past it. So basically, if you are not grounded and you try to create a vision board or create a super aligned offer or build a dream client roster or find the job of your dreams or try to enter in a new relationship, if your root is unbalanced, none of that is going to feel like it's actually yours. It's going to feel very borrowed. It's going to feel very temporary. And there's going to be this lack of security vibe to it. And it might feel like it's going to be taken away from you. Okay. So what are some of the signs of an imbalance in the root chakra? So our imbalances can either be like the chakra is too closed. So it's kind of like a deficient root chakra is kind of what we look at, or excessive. So it's too open. And there are some times that I tune into a client's body for a Reiki session. And sometimes there is a chakra that is like wide open, and that can feel really ungrounding no matter what chakra. So if you have a deficient root, if it is closed or if it's not really, if it's wobbly is kind of how I envision it, then you can be experiencing things like anxiety. You can be feeling spaced out or not in your body. I talk about being like up in your head too much. If there's a lot more energy up in the top chakras versus the bottom, it can feel very kind of almost lightheaded. You can also experience difficulty making decisions. You might be avoiding some financial decisions, balancing your books, that sort of thing. Your nervous system could also be stuck in a fight or flight response, and you might just kind of feel like you don't belong anywhere. You can feel very ungrounded, quite honestly. If your root chakra is really open and there's too much of it happening, it's kind of in this excessive point, then it could be things like hoarding, like you're hoarding money or control or holding really tightly to your routines. It could also be a resistance to change or over attaching to material security. And basically, if your root chakra is like really wide open, you can sometimes experience difficulty trusting anything that you can't like physically touch, hold in your hands, understand the numbers of, all that. So you kind of lose some of your whimsy, right? So traditionally in Ayurvedic medicine, a sign of imbalance in the root chakra could show up as lower back pain, knee or foot issues, digestive sluggishness, or immune fatigue. So this is where that disclaimer about this is not medical advice comes into play. However, if you're seeing a doctor already for lower back issues, knee, foot issues, digestive issues, immune fatigue, all of that, and you're doing all the medical things as well, and you haven't worked on the energetic stuff, maybe it's time to. I don't know. In daily life, if your root chakra is just kind of wonky, you might experience a scattered focus, you might experience decision fatigue, or kind of like you're just like one bad week from falling apart or chucking it all in the trash. Okay. So if you are hearing anything that feels familiar, then I think it might be worth it to integrate one or more of these daily practices into your routines. Okay. So supporting any of the chakras is really simple. And with the root chakra, it's about creating something that's consistent. So I encourage you to just pick one thing here and move forward with it. So one could be barefoot contact with the earth. So even just 5 minutes on grass or soil really significantly shifts your nervous system state. And there are multiple scientific studies that show that this kind of practice, aka earthing, is really, really good for our nervous system. Another one, it could be consistent sleep and wake times, because our body really loves rhythm, but so does the root chakra. So when you have a lot of irregularity in your sleep and wake times, it can just throw everything off. We know this. If you want to eat vegetables that really support the root chakra, those include potatoes, beets, carrots, and then any foods that grow downward. Okay, so like instead of like celery or broccoli that grow up, anything that grows downward. So really it could also be like fruits, because fruits grow downward, right? Anything that's onions are really good because they, like the onion part that we eat is in the ground. And then also making sure that you're incorporating some sort of movement in your day. For the root chakra, it's really nice to have some resistance training or walking, anything that kind of puts some pressure on your feet and legs. And if you are wanting to help support your root chakra, a walking meditation is really, really great. And then when it comes to colors, because you know I love my color magic, wearing the color red, surrounding yourself with it, or even visualizing a kind of a spinning wheel or a bright red light at the base of your spine can really help. So none of these are going to fix you overnight. None of these are going to solve the challenges that come up from an out of whack root chakra, but they're nice little practices. So pick one and you can change it up, right? You can always change it up. Last night I had some carrots with my dinner, and I had these 4 really long carrots, and they were so great. And it was just like, oh yes, it's just like earthy, grounding root veggies. So good. Highly recommend. All right. So beyond like these daily maintenance practices, you can of course go deeper. So that was like level 1. So eating some good root vegetables, wearing red, a walking meditation, all that is kind of level 1. So level 2 would be something like Reiki. You know, when you go into a Reiki session, you could tell your practitioner, hey, I'm feeling really ungrounded. I think maybe my root's off, but they're going to be able to tell. So we can tell. we pull our pendulum out and we test all of the chakras and we can tell what's off. A grounding meditation, so more than just standing on the earth, but if you can then visualize roots extending from the base of your spine or the soles of your feet, if roots coming from your spine freaks you out, because it does for some people, and really feeling actively supported. I will also lead my clients in meditations where it feels like there's an energetic cord. So it's just made of golden energy, and it's either extending down from the base of the spine or it's connected to their hips. So I find sometimes it feels better to have kind of a golden cord attached to the outside of the hips that comes down, and kind of visualizing that. So try that. Titrated movements, so slow, small doses of somatic release movements. So shaking, gentle stretching, moving your hips. Honestly, we store so much trauma, so much emotion, so much stress in our hips. If we can just kind of release some of that, that always helps. If you are a gemstone witch like myself, red jasper, hematite, black tourmaline, smoky quartz, put in your pocket of like your pants. So it's close to the root chakra, or even, held close to the root chakra during meditation can help. So basically any of your red gemstones and any of your black gemstones will help. And then if you want to work an affirmation in there, it could be something like, I am safe, I am supported, I belong here, I am secure. Anything that feels very physically connected to the earth, especially if you're like sitting on a cushion on the ground and meditating. So how does the root chakra show up in your business? So if you are a business owner, stick with me. And if you're not, that's okay too, because it's going to show up in your work as well. Okay. So your business has this energy as well. And this rooted foundational energy is kind of the infrastructure that's underneath and behind everything. So it's like your contracts, your bookkeeping, your client onboarding process, your pricing math, and all the systems that nobody sees like forward facing. So in your job, if you don't own a business, it's, the things that you do to stay organized. It's your calendar. It's any spreadsheets you keep. It's any daily routines that you have. Like if you do a to-do list, that's part of the root and the foundation of your work. So if your personal root chakra is ungrounded, your business can also be ungrounded, right? So instead of being confident and sure and steadfast, you can feel scattered or reactive. Okay. So if you're feeling like this is where you're at in your work, getting super specific on things like your contracts, your project scope, your bookkeeping system, documenting onboarding processes so you can repeat them, so that you can review it when you're like not trying to sign a new client, but like actually you've got it in place. So you're not rushed. These are ways that you can help set up a secure foundation in your business. And it's not all that sexy. I know. It's not nearly as fun as creating a reel can be, but it is the difference between a business that can weather a slow month, or weather the storm of like a very active month when life gets unpredictable, versus one that kind of crumbles when you get busy, or when you step away, or you go on vacation. Okay. So here's what I invite you to sit with this week. Where in your life and or your business / work are you building on a shaky foundation? And I want you to do this without judgment. Okay. sometimes it doesn't feel safe to slow down long enough to lay a real foundation. So where is that lacking? Because that's where you can then focus your attention, focus your energy, focus your magic on creating a little more of a foundation. That is what I have for y'all today. The Patreon bonus is going to be a one pager all about the root chakra and how to align with it. So you can print this out. You can stick it in your journal, if your book of shadows, if you're a witch, create like a fun collage once they all come out. And I hope you really enjoy that. That'll be for all paid members of the Patreon. You can also always join for free, and that link is down in the show notes. And thank you so, so much to all of my Patreon supporters. I'm going to read y'all's names out next week. I didn't collect them before I sat down to record. So, but I will make sure to do that next week. Next week, we're also going to be talking about the sacral chakra and how you can support that, how you can figure out if it's out of balance, what it means in your business and work, all of that. I also have links to my Instagram, my YouTube, and my website down in the caption. So come hang out wherever you like to hang out online. And until next week, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, take care of each other, and of course, stay magical. Bye.